Hi, hello, I'm Amy. Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to record today's video because I want to know what's going to be on my TBR for spooky season. So I'm going to get into just kind of an explanation of the game board a little bit in case you haven't seen my previous video from last month. And then we will find out what I'm going to read for this next month. So I've put together a game board with different colored spaces that correlate with either different card decks or with my TBR jar. And each color represents a different kind of prompt. And then I'll be moving across the board with this little vial. And then I have a 12-sided die. There are other spaces on the board, but I think they're pretty self-explanatory. This little double arrow just means that I get to roll again. But let's go ahead and get started and see what I'm going to read in October. First off, the 8. Oh, I think I got this first the last time too. So if there is a prompt that I really don't want to fulfill for this month, this space gives me the option to remove one of those books from my TBR. And I just made like a little indicator so that way I can remember that I have that as an option. So I'll go next is 4. So get general prompts. I have shuffled these, but I'm just kind of pick from the middle here. I think I got 2 cards. Yeah. Stuck together. Okay, so first off, YA. Okay, so I need to pick a YA book. I do have several books set aside that I want to try and get on my TBR. So let me see if I can find one that matches. Okay, so I do have a couple of options. Let me go ahead and change my camera here. So I do have a couple of options for this. So I have Lockwood & Co. Screaming Staircase by Jonathan Stroud. My husband and I watched this series on Netflix and I really enjoyed it. So this is definitely a contender. And then I also have Together We Rot by Skyla Arndt. I know in this one we follow a young woman who, I don't remember if she worked for a paranormal group that kind of works to exorcise ghosts from haunted areas. I know there was a tragic accident for the last place that she worked for, and she's now looking for new employment, and she finds this younger man who hunts down ghosts and I guess you could say that he exorcises the ghosts from locations. There's definitely a unique element to the world that they live in. I believe that if you touch the ghost, they can actually kill you. But this one is definitely a contender. And then Together We Rot. Let me just read the synopsis for this one. These days, Will spends her time gathering not-so-legal evidence on her mom's disappearance for an apathetic sheriff, while she and her checked-out dad try to make ends meet at their failing motel. They're a hair's breadth away from foreclosure, and the powerful clerks have their eyes on the property. Elwood has been counting down the days until winter break. He hasn't told anyone he won't be coming back to school to finish out senior year. His pastor father is training him to lead their congregation, the Garden of Adam. But after one last night out with his friends, he comes face to face with a more chilling fate. He's not his father's successor, but his sacrifice. Now on the run, Elwood knows Will is his only hope. They must reluctantly work together to dig up the truth about her mom and the Garden of Adam, but what they don't know is that Elwood harbors another monstrous secret, growing deep inside him, and will save the boy she can't help but fall for. So, I think I might go with this one, just because it's a new story. I do want to really get into this series at some point, but I think I'm going to go with Together We Rot. It sounds like kind of a mystery, and that's what I've been in the mood for recently, so we will go with this one, I think. So that is for YA. We'll put that one back on the shelf. And next, we have 9. I usually try and oops, sorry. You almost can't see it, but there is a line under there. So we've got 9. Black. Okay, so these are the Illumicrate prompt cards. I got this with an Illumicrate subscription box. I guess we're going with the green one. A book by a debut author. Decided to go with Alchemized by Sen-Lin Yu. It says in the author's description that this is her first novel, so I am excited to get to this one. It's got necromancy, it's got alchemy, and it sounds perfect for the spooky season. So that is book 2. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras. Ooh, 1. We get another general prompt. Oh, I guess I could just pick the top one. Random generator. Okay, so we're going to try this. We'll see if you can see it okay. Go ahead and spin. Retelling. Oh. Okay. This wasn't really on my radar, but I'm going to do a reread for a retelling. This is The Fairy Godmother by Mercedes Lackey, and it's kind of a compilation of retellings, honestly. So it says, in the land of the 500 kingdoms, if you can't carry out your legendary role, life is no fairy tale. Elena Clovis was supposed to be her kingdom's Cinderella until fate left her with a completely inappropriate prince. So she set out to make a new life for herself, but breaking with the tradition was no easy matter until she got a little help from her own fairy godmother, who promptly offered Elena a most unexpected job. Now instead of sleeping in the chimney, she has to deal with arrogant stuffed shirt princes who keep trying to rise above their place in the tale. And there's only one in particular who needs to be dealt with. Sometimes a fairy godmother's work is never done. So this one, I do remember really enjoying this the first time I read it, and I would like to reread the rest of the series also, because it's been a while. But that is The Fairy Godmother by Mercedes Lackey. Not exactly the vibe I was going for this month, but I had I think a Nutcracker retelling, but I couldn't find it, so I guess we're going to go with that one. Oh, 10. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oh, I've got another -1. Considering I only have 3 books, I don't think I want to just read one book this month. I may not need those. Let me know if you think I should be able to save those for other TBR games, like to carry them forward, or if they just kind of go away if I decide that I don't want to use them during the game. And then we have 9 again. which means I'm gonna pick a black because this base is black, especially since I only have 3 books so far on my TBR. Let's pick an orange one to go with the spooky season. The oldest book on your TBR. I'm tempted to pick something different or to redraw because I have no idea what the oldest book on my TBR is. You can disagree with me if you want. Maybe if I did some preparation for that prompt, it'd be better, but a book set in summer. Okay. Book set in summer. Oh, perfect. Okay, so for this one, another one that I was hoping to get on my TBR for this month, and another one that I recently purchased, is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. And this follows a group of girls, I think it mainly follows one main character, but there's a group of girls that are in a home for young women who have become pregnant out of wedlock, and there's very strict rules for them as far as what they can do, what they can talk about, I assume what their dietary needs are, but there is a librarian that introduces them to the occult, from what I understand. And I did say when I hauled this book that Grady Hendrix is kind of a touch-and-go author for me, but I think going into his books with a certain expectation really helps my enjoyment of his work. So we now have Witchcraft for Wayward Girls on this month's TBR. I also like to draw from my TBR jar, whether I got a prompt for that or not. So I will swap over. Okay. Normally I would go for just purple, but I think I'm just going to pick a random one today. Oh, yellow. This one's an ebook. If You Tell. And I believe this is on Barnes & Noble. So I will find that really quick. Okay, so this one is a Kindle book. It is If You Tell by Greg Olson. And let me just go ahead and read the synopsis for you. After more than a decade, when sisters Nikki, Sam, and Tori Notick hear the word mom, it claws like an eagle's talons, triggering memories that have been their secret since childhood until now. For years, behind the closed doors of their farmhouse in Raymond, Washington, their sadistic mother, Shelley, subjected her girls to unimaginable abuse, degradation, torture, and psychic terrors. Through it all, Nikki, Sam, and Tori developed a defiant bond that made them far less vulnerable than Shelley imagined. Even as others were drawn into their mother's dark and perverse web, the sisters found the strength and courage to escape an escalating nightmare that culminated in multiple murders. So this one does sound like it's good for spooky season. Yeah, I think that's a good addition to my TBR. Hi, kitties. What you doing? My kitties have joined. Yeah. Daddy. Yeah, that's what I'm reading for this month. Mikasa is blessing my TBR books. Let me know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts on them are. What are you reading this month? And I hope you have a great day and happy reading. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.